Chicago, baby. Chicago, baby.
What is up, my fellow Sackers? So today I want to go over the top 8 deck list from YCS Orlando. I won the tournament, yay, but I just want to give flowers to all the top 8 players, and I didn't see a video where all top 8 deck lists were in one place. I will have the DB link to all these deck lists in the description, so if you're interested in like trying it out, please look in the description to get the link. And I also do have 4th place Dan Rose's deck list, the Christian Storm player, so yeah, be sure to check that out. But without further ado, let's get into the deck list. So 4 people tied for 5th through 8th place. So we're gonna just start off with Shawn Banks. Shawn's a local Chicago player, and he's been definitely on the grind for Machina for a while now. His deck list is 44 cards, which is a bit unconventional, but it kind of makes sense because other than Gear Frame, most other cards I should say in here are multiples, and the power level is relatively the same. The deck is a grind deck, and by spreading his deck count out, can't talk, he never like drew multiples of like cards like, you know, Hamster, Raikou, or like Avarice, for example. So he doesn't want to draw multiples of those, and it definitely worked out for him. Like, I think it makes total sense. Other than Dushu and Gear Frame, like, I really don't want to see multiples of anything else, really. So, and I guess you could see double Fortress, but you could also search Fortress with Gear Frame. So that's pretty cool. I haven't seen 44 cards before. He also said Tragodio is really good for him, which I'm interested to see because I normally don't like that card in most decks, but he does have a lot of levels to take stuff. He said like he was, you know, discarding stuff for Fortress to take level 7s and discarding like highest Chaos Sorcerer to take 6s. Like, he has a lot of levels, so it is pretty cool to see. He also is playing, he's also playing Book of Moon and Compulsory in the main, which I think is a good call going forward. I'm not sure if he just like thought Book and Compulsory were good, like for the current, like, I'm gonna call it like the older meta before the degen decks came out. But Book and Compulsory are definitely really good into both Gigavice and Fishborg, so that is cool to see. And he also sized a 3rd Compulse. Side deck is cool. I feel like going forward we're gonna see a lot more, how should I say, like, different cards in the side deck because the meta is just wide open again. Edison, people keep saying Edison format solved, but it's not. The Black Horn of Heaven's cool. I wonder if that worked out for him, but I know he said it was a meme in his deck profile, but I don't know. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, who knows. But yeah, good stuff to Shawn. It's really cool to see him do well. Fellow Chicago player. Okay, next. I'm kind of gonna go over the 2 Gigavice deck lists like at the same time. This is Sam's deck list. I think more people are shying away from this type of deck list and playing a deck list that's more like Marcus's, because I feel like more people are just trying to combo, and Marcus's deck is definitely better to combo. But looking at this list, he's not playing any Super Solar Nutrients. He's playing more traps. He's playing Plague Spreader, Necrogarna, Morphing Jar. Definitely some notable changes, and I think the biggest notable change besides Super Solar Nutrient is he's only playing 5 equip spells. He said it worked for him, but I really do feel like I haven't played Gigavice before yet. I've only seen replays, but Power Tool Dragon definitely goes off multiple times. If you draw 2 equip spells, and that includes Hidden Armory. So if you draw 2 in any combination of equip spells and or Hidden Armory, you can only Power Tool once, and then you can't Power Tool anymore. So I really feel like you should be playing more than 5 equip spells, but what do I know? I haven't been playing the deck that much. Power Tool is definitely a scary card to deal with. Like, you have to get rid of that card immediately. If you're not spamming Power Tool every turn, then obviously the card's not really doing much anymore. The side deck, I like Marcus's main deck better, but I do kind of like this side deck better mainly because of Double Breaker and a little more defense. Marcus is playing, and I'll get to his list in a sec, but Marcus is playing I think double Mobius, Soul Exchange, and Vanity's Fiend. I've tried the Soul Exchange, Mobius, Vanity's Fiend package in a few decks in the past, and it's just never worked out well for me, so I don't know how it worked out for him, but Breaker is definitely just crack. So I definitely like Breaker. And then looking at the extra deck, I think Marcus's extra deck is a little more optimized too, because I know you have to play Chimera Tech because you're playing Cyber Dragons, but in my head, the Machina matchup should be pretty good for you. You have Staros and Titanial. You can just always just Mark of the Rose the fortresses. And I can't remember. I'm going to look at Marcus's deck right now. There's another card in the extra deck, Gotems. So instead of playing Chimera Tech and gonna go back real quick. Instead of playing Chimera Tech and I think it's an Android. Instead of Chimera Tech and Android, he's playing Golems and Mistworm, which probably come up, seeing as how this deck has access to quite a few levels. But yeah, looking at Marcus' deck, I called him Marcus 2, inside joke, because when we were lining up to take the top 8 picture, there's 2 Marcuses, and when the guy called for Marcus, both of them were like, which one? And he's like, so you're Marcus 1 and you're Marcus 2, which I thought was really funny because Marcus Hayden finished first in Swiss. And then when Marcus Hayden went to get his prize, the guy was like, oh, I was right, you're Marcus 1 because he finished higher, so that was funny. So yeah, Marcuslol, he's Marcus 2 for this tournament. Yeah, like I said, his main deck I think is very clean. He tested this a lot with Pro Storm. I feel like this is the standard for now. I don't like the side deck as much because of the breakers. I guess really besides the breakers and slow change, everything else does look better though. Decree is definitely really good. Consecrated is definitely really good because you don't want to side deck dev into this deck. Like it doesn't really hit anything besides Lone Fire, and like all the stuff it hits, you have to shotgun the deck dev and just pray you hit it, and there's a way to reoccur the cards anyway. So I don't think deck dev is good against this deck. So Consecrated is really good when you can side it in when deck dev's not a problem. And yeah, I know he's been working on this deck for a long time, and I'm happy he's finally gotten his top and he's like broken this deck out. It's like under his name. I'm pretty sad that the meta is going to become degenerate for a bit because of him, but what are you going to do? And then the last 5th through 8th place deck is Frog Hero, Aaron. I watched Aaron's deck profile and I kind of agree with a lot of his main deck choices, because I do feel like the issue, he was saying how the issue with Frog Hero is it's not aggressive enough and he wanted to be more aggressive, hence the second Ryza. He likes second Fader. It's funny because when we played game 1 he beat me because he didn't open Frog access, but he opened Fader and double Ryza and he just kept looping my Rykos with like that eventually, and I just couldn't keep up. He's also playing double Econ. He likes that way better than Slow Exchange he said in his deck profile, and the rest is pretty standard in the main deck. In the side deck you can see, I think the only like really notable thing in the side deck is the second Junk Synchron. He said against non-bird decks that card cooks, and I mean it's true. We've seen multiple lists with Junk do well in the past, but I feel like people have shied away from multiple Junk because of deck dev and oppression. But I think he is right, against non-bird decks where Junk isn't an issue, it is a very good card. Like he said, like he loves looping Junk Synchrons with Swap Frog, and it's just, you know, it's Junk Synchron. It is very good. So yeah, congrats to him. Okay, and this is the only deck profile, or deck list I should say, that hasn't been featured yet on YouTube or anywhere as far as I could tell. 4th place, Dan Rose. He is our YCS Niagara winner, and he topped again. So he won the last YCS, or that he won the last YCS he entered, and then he got 4th here. So that's a crazy performance. I was talking to him and he says he's actually done really well in like a lot of Go tournaments and other Edison tournaments. So yeah, this guy's just consistent as hell with Cruciathorn. He's consistent as hell with the Cruciathorn deck, and he's always playing more and more cards in his list. I know the first thing that pops out is a 46 card Cruciathorn list. I think it is Niagara deck. He's on 44, and instead of cutting stuff, he added stuff. So I don't know the math on this. I don't know how it works out. It's working for him. There's a lot of unconventional choices here in his deck. Like there's a random Pot of Avarice. There's the random Reincarnation with double Beckoning. You normally see either Reincarnation or Beckoning. You normally don't see both, especially in Cruciathorn. And his main deck, he's playing Triple Wolf, which I think that's correct. Like you need it. Like hitting Wolf is, the risk reward is so good, and you also have a bunch of ways to discard Wolf. But he's also playing Plague. He's playing everything. Like there's just everything in this list. So in the side deck, you can see he's playing triple Consecrated, even though, like I just mentioned how Consecrated is good when deck dev isn't an issue, but deck dev is an issue against Cruciathorn. You have a lot of targets, especially with Triple Herald, double Honest. So I don't know if he like ever got deck dev'd. He's also still playing Jinzo. I think he was playing it at Niagara, I'm pretty sure, and he's still playing it. And he's playing, like towards the end of his side deck, he's playing like Mirror Force Torrential, which you see, I feel like you should just main those, but I don't know. And then Decree is definitely a really good card. So he's a lot of trap hate with Jinzo, MST, Double Decree, and My Body. And he's also playing Herald of Green Light. I don't know exactly what that's for, but I don't know. He's playing it's definitely a good card. Like I've seen green and purple a lot in these side decks, and I think it's cute, and maybe it is actually really good. But yeah, dude, this list is not real. Like he's been cooking a lot of people. Marcus will admit to this. In the fourth place match, Marcus was about to get 2-0'd, and then Marcus is dead to rights. He hasn't really been drawing any monsters. And then Marcus goes Omega Fudget, YOLO Brain Controls, Dan's Card Trooper, mills exactly 2 darks. So now he's 3 darks in graveyard, and he drops Dark Arm, then he stabilizes from there. So I think that's really crazy. 4th place is definitely the worst place to get, but you know, putting yourself on the map 2 out of 2 times and getting a 1st and a 4th is just an insane result in my opinion. So that's good stuff to Dan. And now we have Marcus, Metaphos, fellow Chicago boyo. Obviously, if you're not subscribed to Metaphos, please sub to him. He's doing everything he can to like try to grow the Edison community. He is helping host RBET Chicago with Keegan. He's doing a great job. So please sub to Metaphos if you haven't already. This deck list, he's playing the exact same list as Chai and Kevin, and they've been on this. The main deck they've been on for a while. Like I really like their main deck. I like the one-ofs. Like, you never know where you're like trying to play around really. And in the side deck, I think they've been refining the side deck for a while. Marcus said in his deck profile, the only thing he really changed is the double soul release. Everything else he like sided in and saw. So yeah, I know it's just Blackwings, but I think there's very few good Blackwing players, especially content creators. Like there's only Hector really, I feel like. And Hector's always kind of changing up his list and trying to read the meta, whereas Marcus more focuses on just the technical play and trying to outplay his opponent. So Hector's trying to, you know, win with deck building, and then Marcus is trying to play with the win with the technical play. So just 2 different perspectives, and I like to see this perspective a lot. Okay, and then 2nd place, GVs. I know where you're looking at. There's only 14 cards in the side deck. That's not a mistake. The dude only had 14 cards in his side. I don't play GBs that much. I've played against GBs a lot, and I just don't understand why there's no Proving Ground. I feel like that card is insanely broken. It's a Rhoda for all your monsters. I get you don't want to draw a lot of monsters, but I feel like you should still be playing a few. But I do like the Test Tiger build. I feel like Test Tiger is really how this deck explodes and gets ahead. I don't like the E-Autos build. I don't like the deck dev. And his side deck, the only thing I think that's super weird besides the Proving Ground thing is not maining Dust Shoot. That card's broken. People who tell me they don't play this card anywhere in their deck better have a really, really, really good reason, because I really do think that is probably the best card in Edison format besides Brain Control. Like if there's a card I had to tell myself that like would get banned first, it's probably Dust Shoot in terms of like healthy technical play. Like Future Fusion might be like a more degenerate, or like deck dev might be more degenerate in terms of like how healthy you want the format to be. Well, honestly, now with Fishborg, I kind of want deck dev in the format, and with Gigavice, I don't even know what I want to ban anymore. But just from a technical like play perspective, like you lose more games to Dust Shoot than Brain Control than like any other card in my opinion. So yeah, those cards are broken as hell. You should definitely be maining Dust Shoot. I get you can't main Brain Control in GBs because you don't really have a conversion, but yeah, I don't know. And then the Ancient Forest, yeah, if you ever want to beat me, just play Ancient Forest against me. That card cooked the crap out of me. I can't read, and I can't remember Ancient Forest is on the field. I don't know. I'm bad. That card really cooked me in the finals. And then I'm not going to go through this. Everyone's seen my value list. I feel like if you're a sub to my channel or been on YouTube for a while, I feel like I put my deck profile out there. The only thing I would change, I said in my deck profile going forward, would be I would take out the Vortex. The second Vortex was not good for me. And at this point, I would put in Fossil Dyna. Of course, if Gigavice and Forks become more and more degenerate, more stuff will change. And I'll probably be making a video in the near future on what I think we should do to combat the degenerate meta. But yeah, thanks for watching. Again, all the links to the deck list will be in the description below. Let me know if you guys think differently on any of the deck lists, or what you think. Actually, the main thing I want to know is what you guys think the meta will be like going forward, how we should be adapting to it, because I'm pretty scared on how, now that Fishborg Frog won a European YCS Birmingham, I believe, and Gigavice is now on the scene. There's a lot of like more uninteractive games, and that makes me really scared for the format, because I love Edison format so much because of the technical play and interactivity compared to modern. But basically 2 modern decks just kind of like enter the format, so that's just really scary. All right guys, peace out. Thanks for watching.